Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Chelyabinsk in Russia. I think you can see the RU in this shot. Russia. Chelyabinsk is an oblast of Russia, located here in Asian Russia, the Asian part of Russia, bordering Kazakhstan here. There are two geographic zones in Chelyabinsk. All throughout this area here and up are the Ural Mountains. You can see there, Ural Mountains, which is one of the dividing points between European Russia and Asian Russia. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more later on. Maybe. It might come up. The other half, which is pretty much all this here, is part of the West Siberian Plain. And it's been categorized as the area where the mountains meet Siberia. That halfway point, I saw it called the Gateway to Siberia. Lots of little names for it. Just the plains area before you start hitting the tundra and the taiga and all of that beautiful landscape in Siberia. This area in the plains is absolutely dotted with lakes. So many lakes. Looks like Finland. It looks like Canada. It's nicknamed the land of 3,000 lakes. And they're not kidding. There's around 3,000 lakes here. That number's only off by a little bit. It's not an exaggeration. 3,000 lakes. And we'll look at some of them on Google Earth. Some of them are little resort lakes. And then we'll talk about one very infamous lake, which is not a resort at all. Let's get into history. That's pretty much it. It's a tiny part of Russia. I mean, it's still very big. Don't get me wrong. Russia is more massive than I think anyone can comprehend. It's still very big, but in terms of Russia, it's very small. So there is a really cool archaeological site in this oblast, and of course we'll look at it at Google Earth later, so stay tuned. It's down here-ish, and it's called Arkaim, and it was built by the Shintasha culture in around 3000 to 2000 BCE. It looks like a big fort, but it's also believed that it was built to look like the universe, like a big map of the sky. Really, really cool. There's still a lot to learn there. I think they're still working on it, but we'll take a look at it on Google Earth. Not much is really known about the Shintasha culture other than what they left behind, things like their pottery and sites like this, but those would have most likely have been the first inhabitants of this area. The Silk Road came through here. Many people passed through trading goods between China and Europe. It's why Chelyabinsk's flag has a camel on it to represent that Silk Road history. The main population at that time, before Russia got involved, much later in history, would have been the Bashkirs, and next door is Bashkortostan, which we've already covered on the channel. Bashkortostan. You can check that out if you so choose. If you don't know, I have a playlist for every single country, so you can search just Russia on my channel and see every video I've made on Russia in a playlist. And that's true for every country. Have fun with that. There's a lot of videos together. Have a good time playing through that. But yeah, the Bashkir people, which I'll bring it up now. Like I said, I consider the Bashkirs to be more Asian than European culturally. They have a lot in common with a lot of other Asian, Russian Asian cultures. But, they're on this side of the mountains, right? In Ufa. So, yeah, just like I talked about yesterday with the Caucasus, it's a debatable border, right? It's not set in stone. It's not a man-made border. The concept of Europe and Asia are also man-made, so yeah. I consider it Asian even though many Bashkirs live in the European part of Russia. It's technical. It's messy. We don't need to get into it. In 1738, Chelyabinsk was founded. It was just a little outpost here. There used to be a Bashkir village there. I'm sure the Russians got rid of that and put a little outpost there to keep an eye on things. It really did not become much until about the 1930s when I'm sure the Soviets were like, we need an industrial town. Let's do Chelyabinsk. And oh boy, did industry boom here. Big, big factories. One of the main things that they built, and I believe they still build, are tractors. Big stuff like that. They became really infamous in the 1930s for building tanks as well. And the city got the nickname of Tankograd, Tank City. But there's all kinds of industry and mining, things like that, building up to World War II. Of course, it ramped up during World War II. Also, Chelyabinsk's population boomed during World War II because this was an evacuation city for many places that were being threatened with invasion from Nazi Germany or, other places around the USSR. In the 1950s, it became a center for nuclear research. And a lot of areas in the Chelyabinsk Oblast were off limits to everyone except for the scientists working there on nuclear weapons research. Outside of one of those centers was a dumping point for a lot of nuclear waste. They dumped it into a lake called Lake Karachay. I'll show you some pictures on Google Earth. It was so toxic. It was bright red, like red, like as red as you can imagine. Disgusting. It was considered at the time the most polluted place on Earth. In the 1980s, they paved over the whole thing with concrete. So we'll look at what it looks like today, but it's no longer the most polluted lake in the world because it's no longer a lake. It's technically not there anymore. There is one more important event that happened in Chelyabinsk Oblast, and that happened on February 15th, 2013, when a huge meteor fell through the atmosphere and crashed in the oblast, sending off a huge shockwave as it flew by, destroying many places in the city, smashing windows and collapsing ceilings and injuring people. It was caught on a lot of dash cams because Russia's really big on dash cams. So there's a lot of viral videos of like very bored taxi drivers watching this thing and either not reacting or just going like, oh. There's one where the guy just like puts his visor down because this meteor lit up. It was brighter than the sun. He just put like the visor down. These people were just like, ho hum, another day. Huge meteor, what can you do? Yeah, there's a lot of memes about the dash cams of the meteor. But today, Chelyabinsk has a reputation for being like a very dismal place, that the people here are just like miserable and grumpy, and the city is dirty. It's considered not a very desirable place to be. I think every country has like, that has major cities, has a city like that. I think like in the US it would be like Detroit, although for different reasons, right? Like it's just like not a very desirable place to be. Although I've seen a lot of beautiful places here in Chelyabinsk. It's gorgeous, especially around the Oblast in the mountains. It's absolutely stunning. It just has that reputation. I was reading more memes. Russian memes are pretty good, and I do love me a good meme that said the crowd on the meteor gasped in horror as it approached Chelyabinsk. That got me. That's pretty good. But that is the history of Chelyabinsk Oblast. We have a lot to see on Google Earth. So why don't we hop over to my tablet and take a look? Let's go. Here we are in Chelyabinsk Oblast. And let's start by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. Like I said, Russia's a big place. It can be hard to find certain places because this country is crazy big, right? So we are at the Ural Mountains. You can see them right here. And Chelyabinsk is just to the east, to the right of them. You can find Kazakhstan. Chelyabinsk is just to the north. And you can really see when I zoom in those two different zones I was talking about. The Ural Mountains here, and then the plains leading up into Siberia up here. Let's start over in the mountains, actually. There's a lot of beautiful places around here. The Taganai National Park, I think, is the most famous because it has some stunning rock formations, as you can see right here. Look at these, just lots of areas where this rock is exposed, and I'm sure there's a big tectonic region, like tectonic plates crashing together and such. Tectonic reason for these cool jagged rocks. Two plates crashing together. How pretty is that? That's stunning. I need a new word for how beautiful places are. This one's really neat. You can see the little rocks poking up. And then, like, look at all of these lines. What is up with that? Do you see? What are those? Someone who knows, let me know. Because is it just like a Google Earth oopsie? Because it doesn't look like it. That's a little odd, all those stripes. But yeah, this one is beautiful. It looks man-made. That looks like a huge art piece or statue or something. It's amazing. You can almost see little faces in it if you stare at it for long enough. That's incredible. Imagine riding your bike in that snow. Oh, I could never. That's very scary to me. But it is so pretty here. Can you see, like, the people? It looks like a cool modern art piece where it's all, like, almost cubist. You know, it's very modern. So pretty. That's almost Bob Ross style. They put a tree there. That's amazing. And then this is called the Valley of Fairy Tales. Gosh, I can see why. It's pretty magical. And people stacked a bunch of rocks. That's man-made. This is the most unimpressed person. I guess that's Chelyabinsk, right? My goodness. How pretty is that? What a beautiful corner of Russia. There's a lot of beautiful corners in Russia, and this is definitely like top 5, I think. That is beautiful. Let's peek over here real quick. Look at all this exposed rock. Looks like a mine. Oh, for sure. Look at that big pit mine there. Wow. So that is man-made. A man-made exposed rock there. That is not. That is beautiful. All right, what shall I show you next? This was a really pretty lake. I feel like I'm going to mispronounce things if I'm not careful. So, yeah. But I'm guessing that Ozero means lake. I saw this. I was like, is there a hotel on the island? I think it's just a camping site. I think that's a place you can raft to and enjoy a little island in the middle of this huge lake. Look at this, you guys. You see, that's a reservoir. That's man-made. But look at all these lakes. I was worried when I saw this. I was like, was this area like bombed like crazy? No, these are all natural. I think some of them are reservoirs. Some of them are from meteors. But this is just all natural. This is just what happens when this place was glaciated once upon a time and it retreats. I assume that the mountains are all glaciated and they just scraped along, creating all of these pits in the earth They filled up with water. All right, I tagged some of the more famous of these lakes, or I just have them in my recent searches, I should say. Or I did with oh, here we go. I think this was like the most popular one from what I could tell. And what I love about this is that this looks like where I live in Idaho. This is exactly what northern Idaho looks like where I live. Not like I don't think there's any Orthodox churches here, but really pretty. Look at, like, it's all frozen in the winter. My lake here doesn't do that, but this is pretty much like the town where I live. Looks just like this. Should probably check to see if we're on the same latitude or something, because it's almost identical. So yeah, you can see a little resort town here. Lots of beautiful beaches and such along this lake. Now, this lake I'm going to show you next. Oh, was it the lake we were just... No, it wasn't. Was it this one? Was it this one? I don't think so. I looked at a bunch of lakes. I'm gonna get them all mixed up. No, this is the one. Okay, this is the one. This is where the meteor crashed into this lake. Thank goodness it crashed into a lake, because it was absolutely huge. It was a big old meteor. And you can see that there's a little memorial here of some kind, commemorating the day that the meteor came through. I wonder if you look through there, you'll see the spot where it crashed into the water. I imagine it went like crazy. And, oh yeah, look at that. There's the meteor. If I tap on the town here, there's also like a meteor beach. Where was that? Not down there, that's all swampy by the looks of it. Oh, there's a meteor beach. Oh, there it is. Meteor. I assume that means beach. Meteor beach. If I tap on this town's name, there's a picture of the meteor, or at least the trail that it left. Look at. That's how big it was. It left this huge cloud behind. Wild, wild, wild. See, that was 2013. So you know that it's legit. How crazy is that? It must have been a trip, like not just to have a meteor crash into you, because it happened in, what was it, Ohio recently? Was it Ohio? Like the same exact thing. But crashing into your lake, that must have been terrifying. There are many other beautiful lake resort areas around here, and as always, I highly encourage you to explore this area yourself, because there are some beautiful little sites. We just scratched the surface. I need to show you, though, Lake Karashay, or what's left of it at least. So here's what it looked like once upon a time. It's blood red. Look at that. Yuck. Just the chemicals in there, and lots of AI pictures too, but gosh, it's like turning black. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. So here's what it looks like today. It is all paved over to contain all of that radioactive material. I assume this was where the research center was. There's some buildings up here, I think. Still. Let's see what that is. Nuclear center. So there's still some stuff going on here. But yeah, their toxic lake is completely paved over. So it is no longer the most toxic lake in the world. I think that goes to the one in Romania that we looked at not long ago. But yeah. Nuclear history is so interesting to me. And if you're interested, be sure to subscribe, because we're going to Ukraine tomorrow. We're not going to Chernobyl, but we're going to be in that Chernobyl zone. So, oh, I'm talking about Chernobyl. It's also almost the 40th anniversary of Chernobyl coming up. We'll get into it next week. Be sure to subscribe. See you. Also kind of poetic that we're hitting Russia and then immediately Ukraine. How interesting is that? The CHEL language group, right? We're in the same part of the world. Let's look at the archaeological site that I promised you. Arkaim. I hope that's how you say it. Way down here. So we can see from above what it looks like. This big mound here. You can see where they've been, looks like digging away at this area here. And this structure here has actually been rebuilt, I read. Let's take a look. This structure. Well, you can see all the wood surely has been redone, but they're showing what this area most likely looked like once upon a time. And here's from above. See the circles there? It's almost like crop circles, and then there's the big hill. So it's believed to be a map of the universe. There's a cool statue there. And beautiful windmill. Wow. And cool rocks. And beautiful landscape. This is a really beautiful corner of Russia. That's a neat statue. That's definitely, I feel like that's definitely not ancient. That is recent, but probably modeled on something that they found here. Lots of circles here. They were really into their circles. Beautiful wildflowers too. It's a nice photo. What else do I need to show you? I think that was about it. There's a lot of really neat slideshows around here, especially over in the mountains. I was playing around there a lot. Oh, we didn't look at Chelyabinsk. Hello. We should probably look at Chelyabinsk, right? I suppose so. I guess. There's some pretty corners here in this city. Just remember where they are. There's this big park here named after Yuri Gagarin. There's a memorial here, or some kind of Pink Floyd looking modern art. Oh, I think that looks like a meteor memorial, is it? Ooh. Okay, I don't know. I don't think so. I wish I could read Cyrillic. I used to be able to read Cyrillic. I learned from Gentle Whispering from her video she did ages ago on how to teach Cyrillic. Like, gosh, like 15 years ago, it feels like. But yeah. You can see the big train station, and you can see like up here. Also, you can see how Soviet-y it was. All of these, I think Google Earth is crashing. We'll find out. All of these apartment blocks, you know. Very Soviet style. But if we go up here, you can see all of this industry, warehouses. Looks like there's mining up there too. I don't know why it's not popping up, but it said, I think they were processing, no, it's not popping up. I think it said radon or something or other. It's probably just, oh yeah, I don't know. Something is happening there. Let me just look at, because I think I was just playing around all the parks and stuff in the museums. Let me just show you the city slideshow so we can see what it really looks like here. I did actually find stock footage of the city that I could have put in the intro, but it was all just like buildings. See, if it was something like this, I would have done it. But they have a big Ferris wheel. You can see this like at the London Eye, basically. So you can see the city, but all of the stock footage was just kind of blah. It wasn't very exciting. Or it was like places in the Urals, but it looked really vague, so you wouldn't be able to tell like that was here. That could have been taken in like the Rocky Mountains or something. But yeah. That is pretty much it, I think. I guess we can look at the park. What is that? Oh, Google Earth is definitely crashing. Hold on 1 second. I think that's my sign to end this video because there's some weird stuff in that park. There's probably a dinosaur in there. There's always a dinosaur. I swear, I see so many dinosaurs exploring parks around the world. It's really weird. Let's see. Is there a dinosaur here? Yup. I don't know what it is. There's always a dinosaur. And even dinosaur. Look at the baby dinosaur. Weird parks like this exist in like almost every country that have dinosaurs. I don't know what it is. Look at the cute squirrel. Little squirrel nutkin there. Very cute. Something there. It looks like a coin. I wish I could still read Cyrillic, even though it probably wouldn't help because I wouldn't be able to translate it. But that is Chelyabinsk, basically. Let's find one more place to look at to end this video. Let me look at Chelyabinsk Oblast. So that we don't get lost. We didn't really explore up here, but I didn't find much here. It's just lakes, pretty much. Let's find a little lake to look at. Put this one. Yep. Look at all these lakes. Let's look at this town next to the lake. If it has pictures. It does not. How about this town? Do you have 20 pictures? No, you just have this one beautiful picture of wildflowers. Yeah, I didn't really find much else. What was that? Here we go. They got fishes. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy this style of content, please consider subscribing. Like I said, we're going to Ukraine next. Oop, they're gutting those fishes. I didn't notice that. We are going to a lot of places in Ukraine. A lot of areas in Ukraine start with C-H-E. Oop, this place is dangerous. So we're going to do a big old Ukraine video. So if that's what you're excited for, which I am, be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. And like I said, we're not going to Chernobyl, but one of those areas is in the Chernobyl area. They all start with C-H-E-R, I should say. So yeah, be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. I would appreciate it very much. And let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational, and I hope that you have a good night. There's an airplane coming.